I don't know. Let's talk a little bit about, you talked about all the strategic elements that went into our competitive PvP play. One thing I would like to know, I mean, you guys worked really hard to make our PvP the way it is, and you were pretty nervous, I guess, like showcasing it here for the first time, and not just showcasing it, but go on the big ESL main stage in front of a couple of thousand people and doing an exhibition match, which is then also broadcast live. So tell me a little bit, how did that feel?
It was really fun. I mean, one of the big things about PvP is we love it just as much as everyone else. I mean, every day we sat in the office, we played, you know, not just the teams that we have here that played it really hard. We have another teams back in the office that play it hard, and they sat and played every day with us to fight and beat on us every day, make sure that we were ready to be able to play the exhibition match. We also have a lot of people back at the office that love and play PvP. So, you know, we really love it, and we really want to show it off, and we really want to see how everyone would react. We're really happy that everyone's really been enjoying it. You know, everyone's been getting into it here, playing it a lot, getting in the lines and seeing it go through, and really loving to see all the reactions and happiness as people have been playing with the game.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Everybody that's come out so far, they started smiling in the middle of the game. They get a few kills, maybe they get killed, they still keep smiling. Then as soon as they stand up, they say, when can I play this? When can I play this? And a lot of people, too, as soon as they get done playing, they'll jump right back in the line to play again. They'll wait a couple more hours because they just cannot get enough of it. So, so far, the feedback's been pretty amazing, Martin.
Just a look in the future, like prediction. Do you think, I mean, you won all 4 matches, for example, against the Boons, but let's be fair, they had not that much time to train, and they gave you like some really hard matches. Do you think in the future, like say after release, will you guys be owning, or is it more like as soon as people get their hands on the game, yeah, they will destroy you?
So in all the past, even though me and Chap love to play the game and we're good at it, we've never really been able to keep up with all the people out there. Just the passion and the time that everyone plays, they usually outpace us really quickly. And so, I mean, we have a lot of knowledge about the game, and we put in a lot of time, and it's really hard to keep up with people out there. We do our best because we're really competitive at heart, but, you know, it's really hard to keep up with everyone out there, especially with the amount of time that they can put into it. But, you know, we'll do our best.
What about you, Chap?
There was a time when I was much younger, when I maybe could keep up. I spent a little bit of time playing competitively, so I did keep up for a time, but once you grow up, you kind of got to work on a game rather than playing it all the time. But we're gonna be out there with you guys. If you see us on the battlefield wave, we'll still play with you guys. But once you guys start to become pros and play every day, all day, and you start sleeping in college, you don't go to classes, you stay home and you play games. That's you guys become experts, and we're looking forward to seeing the experts for Guild Wars 2.
Nobody does that, right?
Oh yeah, they do that. I know from experience. I have a degree in StarCraft as well as a degree in philosophy. So.
Oh man, when you say when you were younger, you're so young, man. You're so young. All right, let's open it up to questions from Twitter. There's like a user Damon, and I think it's not the Damon, but another one. Will there be PvP letters, or will there just be tournament play?
So we're still working out a lot of the details of that. We're kind of focusing on the core gameplay right now. Until we get the core gameplay down, we don't want to go too in to the ladder system or the tournament system or any of that kind of things. But we're really kind of going to focus mainly on the core gameplay right now once we get that out. But a lot of it's going to be more in tournament-based system. But that doesn't rule anything out. We'll talk more about the details of ladders, rewards, all that kind of stuff when we get more of it. But right now, it's more just we're getting core gameplay, and we'll release more information about PvP when we have it.
User Jordan Elliott wants to know, will skills change powers in PvP? So basically, will they be different from PvE skills?
So we're definitely going to have differences in PvE skills and PvP skills. It's kind of one of the core mechanics that we use to balancing the game. The two game types are fundamentally different. There's all sorts of things that you're going to do in one versus the other, and we expect from day one, even in the demos, there's skills that are completely different. Shield Bash is a lot longer stun in PvE than it is in PvP, and there's tons of skills that we're going to be doing that with. And it's going to be a continued philosophy, not only just in numbers, but maybe even functionality, and we'll be doing lots of things to communicate that as best we can. It was a powerful tool we used in Guild Wars 1, and it's something that we're going to continue even through Guild Wars 2.
Lubomir wants to know, will there be body blocking?
No, there will not be body blocking. We added a lot of mechanics in the game to allow you to maneuver other players around with knockbacks, launches, knockdowns, a lot of those things, fear. There's plenty of ways that you can maneuver other players, but you cannot body block in the game, and there probably will not be body blocking anytime in the future.
Corey Wright wants to know, will there be any PvP mode that resembles Guild Wars 1 GVG, and what about Hall of Heroes?
So the main things that we're focusing on right now is the competitive PvP and World v World, and so those are the two main game types that we have. In competitive PvP, it's going to be a conquest-based system, and every conquest map will have 3 objective points and then a secondary objective, and every secondary objective is going to completely change the way the map plays. In this map, it's completely destructible terrain. The whole map plays around the secondary objective, and the key about the secondary objective is it needs to promote lots of different tactics in the map, and it also stops defensive play. We know one of the weaknesses of Conquest is you can take the points and then go into a really defensive build. And then, so we recognize that as a weakness of capture points, and we want to make sure that all of our secondary objectives address that weakness. But, those other game types that we've had in the past games, we really want to make sure we don't have way too many game types, and we want to focus all of our games into a couple game types that we can put a lot more resources in, balance, and make sure they're really, really good.
And the last one is, I think you might already kind of answer this, is from Artist Ben. Will there be more maps upon release?
There will definitely be more maps. The exact number of them, we haven't really released, but I can tell you this. We've worked on, multiple maps. We've made 15, 30 or so maps just to get this one map out the door. One of the philosophies that we do is we make a lot of maps, and then we play them all, and kind of the weaker die away and the stronger survive until, and that's kind of a philosophy. We just continue to play maps and maps and maps and maps. I'll let Chap talk a little bit more now since he was the guy who did it.
Yeah, so I was with the team that actually made the map that we're showing right now. And one of the philosophies we have is we like to iterate. So that means that we want to take 15, 20 maps, we want to throw them in the game, we want to start brainstorming, and then we want to start playing them, and then we want to start cutting out the weak ones. And then when we start to get some really good maps that we think are pretty good that we want to show you guys, we start to play it as a company, which means we get the entire company at lunchtime sometimes to play this and just give us feedback, let us know. They send us emails, they come by our desks, and they just yell at us about things they don't like. So we have this really great community in-house that allows us to really perfect maps. So what you see right here is just one map, but there's a lot of stuff on the back end that made that happen. There's a lot more maps coming down the pipe as well. So you guys are going to be really happy, I think, with the maps we actually ship with.
I'm really glad that you finally said something. I thought Izzy is ruining his voice and you're just hanging out here on stage. So
I hear that,
I heard that, yeah. So anybody else got questions for the guys on stage? Yeah, I know, you were an early one. So he said in PvE he noticed that, for example, you shoot an arrow, it takes 3 seconds, the skill to activate or something like that. And basically if you get interrupted or knocked or down or whatever, it just keeps triggering the skill and it fires, so it doesn't do anything. Is it just because of the demo, or will this differ between PvE and PvP?
Sometimes we have some skills. That could be a skill that we know about that we've seen as a bug. So that's just one of those things that we need to fix. We're not going to have things that are different between PvE and PvP as far as how it feels and how it plays. So that's not something we want to do, is to punish you in PvE for maybe using a skill and not doing it in PvP. So that's not our intent. It's just one of those things that, it is still a game in progress. That's one of those things we'll have to fix down the road. So.
What role is the gear going to play in PvP? Your gear.
So how big of a role does gear play in PvP?
So in competitive PvP, as you saw, gears will be pretty much even for everybody. Now what this means is you can either come in at the max level like everybody else and you can have gear and stuff like that. You'll have a lot of stuff that you can pick from. Or you can bring your own characters into PvP if you want to. So you'll have two different ways. Now in World versus World, gear will be very important. because you can actually move through the progression system in World versus World. So it will play a bigger part in World v World and a smaller part in the actual competitive PvP.
One other big thing is gear on your character is also another part of your character development. I mean, picking the skills that you pick is one aspect of what your character is going to use, but also what items your character use actually does really change up the way your character. If you want to pick a character that does a lot of criticals and does a lot of procs based on the things that he criticals, that can be a completely different feel of a character than a character that has a lot of health and a lot of armor and defense, and the only difference between that character and a crit character is gear, and they will play completely differently. And so gear is another piece of your character's build. Character's build is always going to be his, all of his skills, all of his gear, and all the other things that add on to those things. So a character's build is a lot of pieces, not just skills.
So, but basically gear doesn't make you more powerful, gear just makes you more versatile?
In competitive PvP.
Yes, in competitive PvP.
Yes.
Is it possible that there sometimes be event maps like a beach in the summer or a map in the style of Guild Wars 1?
Sprichst du Deutsch? Basically, he's asking if we have holiday events in the game, so like costume brawl or whatever that we currently have. So will there be like special maps for competitive PvP, or like in the summer having a beach brawl or something like that?
So we haven't talked too much about that publicly. We do have some things like that. In the major cities, you're going to find a lot of activities, and those activities are basically small little tournaments that you can play. Some really fun things you can do inside of cities. Now, for PvP, we may have some things like that. Some of the locations that we've already done harken back to Guild Wars 1 locations. We've already done a lot of those maps. We didn't show them here. We only showed the one. But we have a lot of things because we grew up playing Guild Wars 1. So we've already made things that look like Guild Wars 1 maps that we're just not showing right now. So if that kind of answers your question.